right, right here I have a fraction equality problem. That's what I'm referring to it as, at least. We see that we have this fraction equal to another fraction, and we have a variable in our problem. When you look at this problem, what are we solving for? What are we simplifying? What are we doing? Well, we see that we have numbers, and then we have this random letter thrown in here. But we need to have a number that this variable represents. So in order to do that, we're basically just solving for this variable. Now, looking at this problem, what do you know I'm going to ask you to do? We have fractions that are made up of mixed numbers. I always want you to change these mixed numbers into improper fractions, because even though some of you are really good at working with mixed numbers, you really need to have these, or at least practice getting these into improper fractions, so that when you're doing higher level algebra, it just comes naturally, because it's going to be really difficult to work with large mixed numbers as opposed to using them as improper fractions. Okay, so going back to the problem, we're solving for x. Let's first change these numbers into improper fractions. So just as a refresher, we multiply the denominator by the whole number and we add the numerator. So we have 21/5 over 7/2. And that is equal to 8 multiplied by 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9/8 over x. All right, these fractions are equal. 21/5 over 7/2 is equal to 9/8 over something, and we don't know what that something is, so that's what we need to figure out. But remember, when it's equal, that means that if we multiply across, we will be able to solve for x. So we're going to rewrite this problem. Basically, when I say cross multiplying in this case, I'm also asking you to just rewrite the problem. So I have 21/5 x is equal to 7/2 multiplied by 9/8. First thing we're going to do once we get to this step is multiply. We can't do anything with this number right now until we've multiplied this. So 9 times 7 is 63 over 8 times 2 is 16. So we have 63 over 16 is equal to 21/5 multiplied by x. All right, now we've simplified it down to two fractions and a variable. I want my variable on the left-hand side of this equation all by itself. So how on earth am I going to do that? I need to detach these somehow, and I need to get 21/5 to the other side. So remember, we are going to divide, or in this case, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal so that we can cancel this out and we're left with x. But in order to do that, we have to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. So what we have now is x, this canceled out, remember, equals whatever this is multiplied. We're going to make this a little smaller. Let's just start with 3. That's the simplest way to simplify this. So 3 goes into 63 21 times. 3 goes into 21 7 times. But I can simplify that even further, correct? Because 7 goes into 21 3 times. 7 goes into 7 1 time. 3 times 5, 15. 16 times 1 is 16. So our answer is x equals 15 over 16. Now let's look back up at our number. X equals 15 over 16. So we know that 4 1/5 over 3 1/2 is equal to 1 1/8 over 15/16. Now, if you want, you can take the time to cross multiply, and you should get a number that is equal to one another.